guys, my name is Kamryn Blackwood, and I play professionally, and I also am a part of the broadcast on many different networks and organizations, tours. I originally really wanted to be a gymnast growing up. That was my thing. I loved it. I was actually going to go train in Texas and do the whole thing that now we found out, all the, thank goodness, the sexual abuse and all that came out. But that was my path. Gymnastics was my thing. I stopped going to school. I got homeschooled. I lived it. That was it. The gym shut down. And so I did soccer, basketball, and tennis. And I always say I chose tennis to go play collegiate because I just had the most success at that time. And so that's why I felt like, hey, this is probably something I can go, collegiate in, I can get a scholarship in. So I stopped playing my other two sports and just focused everything into tennis around my sophomore year in high school. And happy I did because I got a scholarship down to a school in Fort Lauderdale, Nova Southeastern, and got my degree in criminal justice. I was going to go be in the FBI. That was the goal. That was the plan. I had no dreams and aspirations of media, of going professional in any other sport. That was just not something I thought was possible just in the sports realm. And I really just had no introduction to media. I never took a class in it. I never took broadcasting or journalism, nothing. Everything was criminal justice. That's what I was going to do. And then I ended up going to Miss USA. I always say that a little nonchalantly because I didn't grow up doing pageants. I was a one and done. I, for whatever reason, felt like that was something I was supposed to do. I felt like God put it in my heart. Ended up winning and went straight to Miss USA. So when I did that, that's when everything kind of shifted for me. And I thought, I want to go into acting and modeling. That's what I want to do. And so after I graduated, I had to go home, deal with some family issues. And then I was living out in LA. That was the goal. That was the plan until the pandemic hit. And that's when I found pickleball. I feel like for most of us, that's kind of the route that it took. We had nothing to do and we were all depressed sitting in our house and just not in a good mental space. And my tennis coach back home in New Mexico said, hey, I started this new pickleball and tennis company. Do you want to come work for me? I was like, well, I have nothing going on. Restaurants aren't open. I can't serve. And I said, well, I'll help coach tennis, but like I'm not going to coach pickleball. And I just didn't know a lot about it. And just kind of what you saw right off the bat, I was like, I don't want to be a part of it. I'm good. Thank you so much. And he goes, okay, like I'm making a lot of money, but like you do you if you just want to coach tennis. I'm like, yeah, let me just coach tennis. And then I just saw people's love for the game. And I saw the money he was making and how busy he was. And I said, well, let me give it a shot. Let's see if I even like it. Because I ended up hating tennis and collegiate just took all the fun out of it for me. I resented it for a long time. I didn't pick up a racket for 8 to 9 years at all. Like once I was done, I was done. And I just didn't want to hate it because I saw how much fun everyone was having. And I thought, if I dip back in, I know my competitiveness that I'm going to hate it. And that's kind of the thought process I had. So I stayed away for as long as I could until he was like, hey, come to a tournament with me. And as most of us, we all lost terribly bad to the 60-year-olds and threw the paddle in my car. And I was like, screw this. I'm done. I knew I was right, not doing this. And, once I started coaching it a little bit more and humbled myself to the level of it's a new sport, it's something I have to learn from the ground up. I really started to fall in love with it. And I really loved every aspect of it. And so I did my first professional tournament October 2021 and ended up winning a couple matches in singles and in mixed doubles. And I thought, maybe I should buy in, kind of like buy in while the stock is low. I mean, I saw the momentum starting to pick up in pickleball. And there was already a lot of guys' names and there were some girls' names, but there just wasn't a lot of momentum. And I thought, wow, is this the right time to kind of jump in? And so I spent all my own money that I had saved up and just started going tournament to tournament. And that's kind of how that journey of the pickleball started. Switch now to almost doing more broadcasting than I am playing. Last June was the first MLP of this kind of new series that we were doing. And when we have like the teams and the big events, and Brooks Wiley, who is currently still the commissioner of MLP, he messaged me and he said, "Hey, you didn't make a team, but do you want to be part of the broadcast team?" And I was heartbroken, honestly. Like I just was sad. Like I've really been working hard for on court, and I thought, do I really just want to go like hold a mic? Like, is that like the future? I've just been putting so much into this, and now I'm going to go be watching everyone that I play with and train with, like they get to kind of be in the glory, and I'm just on the sideline. So it took me a minute to respond. And I thought, you started this to grow the game. So however that's going to look, that's what you're going to do. So whether I'm on the court, on the sideline, holding a paddle or holding a mic, it was a yes. So that's how I told Brooks, I said, well, thank you. I said, I don't have any live sport experience. Like I don't have broadcasting experience. I've just done a couple, Miss USA gigs, but never live sports. He's like, yeah, we'll just give it a try, figure it out, and now looking back at my clips, I cringe because of like just how awkward and new I was. And I had no knowledge of that industry, of just anything regarding the broadcast side of things. And I owe a lot of credit to Michelle McMahon. She is still a part of our broadcast, and she has really taught me everything that I know, and just learning and YouTube and watching Erin Andrews. And so it's a pretty weird, I feel like I have two careers I never trained for right now. And but I'm very blessed to be here because I love them both so much, and hopefully everyone sees a smile that I have on my face regardless of where I'm at. We can all say the reasons that everyone comes up with, right? Like anyone can play it, anyone, any age, this and that. It's a lot easier than tennis. In my perspective, I think it's growing at the rate that it has is because it's safe. And I say that because I think that anyone can go and feel accepted on the court. And you don't have to look a certain way. Like we said, age doesn't matter, gender doesn't matter, but I think you can go and be completely yourself and really compete at any level with any other human that steps on the court. And I think that's really special. And I think that people are finding that space of community that they really couldn't find in any other sport. And they're feeling active, they're feeling more confident in themselves. And whether they're just getting out and being in fresh air, and maybe they're only on the court once and then they're sitting on their little chairs in the groups that, you see people on courts do all the time with their, whether, your grandparents are out there or the kids are out there. But I just think it's a really safe space. And I think that pickleball in general has created such an amazing community around that, making sure it's fun, you're accepted, and it's safe. And I feel like even though it's your first time picking up a paddle versus your 50th time picking up a paddle, you're still accepted. And I think that's so cool because, like I said, you just don't find that in any other sport. And I think another reason is because you get to see yourself perform shots that the pros perform on TV. I can't go dunk a ball. I can't hit a corner kick and make it in the net in soccer. I can't throw a touchdown, but I can hit an ATP and so can you. I can hit an Ernie, so can you. It may not look the same, but you can literally effectively hit those shots and hit winning shots and think, oh my gosh, I'm doing it like the pros do it. And I think having that connection, bringing it from the average person to the professional athlete, I think that's where we're seeing the rapid growth because they can connect on that level. And I don't think you can do that in any other sport. The fulfillment within myself is what I say, because I think a lot of people thought I got off court because the broadcasting was taking off, which is true. I just couldn't afford it. I really couldn't afford the playing tournament lifestyle that it is. I mean, between the travel and the airlines and the rental cars and the registration fees and Airbnbs, I mean, you can be out of pocket $2,500 each tournament, and there's 2 to 3 a month. And I couldn't sustain that. And so what I could sustain was going and getting a check broadcasting. And then I found the love in that. But I'm just really looking forward to getting back on court because I want to get back on court. I just feel like I haven't fulfilled that competitiveness inside me to say, okay, you know what? I gave it a good run. I'm done. It was almost like it got taken away from me a little bit. And by no other means, then it just is what it is. I mean, there's nothing bad there. I'm not done yet. And I just want to show my best. And I think what's so cool about what I do, being able to play professionally and broadcast, is it just gives so much more validity to what I say on the mic because I'm playing against them every week and I'm seeing the different strategies and patterns play out in real time on the other side of the net. And I was doing that a lot last year. I just haven't been able to this year. So I'm really looking forward to that because I think number one, it's going to make my broadcast better. And I think number two, I'm just going to be happier, to be honest. I'm really excited to play again. I think, a lot of people just get to go play. And I'm like, I haven't been able to really do that and really focus on my training. And so as an athlete, that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the long, hard days, the blood, sweat, and tears. And, I know it's going to be rough and I know it's going to be some hard losses. And, right off the bat, getting back into it, the speed of play has just increased tremendously. And I have a long road to get back to being competitive, but I think that's what I'm most excited about is that journey and seeing what I have left. I think some common misconceptions of kind of the glitz and glams of the glitz and glams of a professional athlete, as well as being part of the broadcast, is it can look seamless and perfect. It's far from that. I think you have really good days, but just like any job, there's good days, there's bad days. And I think, it's expensive. Like I said, it's expensive to go play when you don't have sponsors or you're just starting out or you don't perform well and you don't get the prize money matching. And then, on the flip side, you don't want to mess up on mic. You're on national television or, whatever streaming platform you're on. And you don't want to get stuck on memes. I mean, it's all those little things that you want to perform your best and it's just not realistic all the time. And so I think just knowing that we all still mess up just like everyone else and we have our bad days and we whiff a ball and we can't get a sentence out to save our lives. And I think a lot of it too is you're traveling constantly and you're not sleeping in your own bed. You're not having the comfort of your home. And a lot of these people have families. So they're traveling without their families or sometimes with their families, which is a whole different problem, to have on road. And so, yeah, I think it just comes with a little bit more complication within a job because the travel, in my opinion, I think that's the biggest, can be the biggest, I don't want to say problem because it's something we signed up for, but I think it is something that gets a little bit overlooked. I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you get to travel around. Like, how cool is that? And I'm like, it is. But when you're gone 5, 6, 7 weeks at a time, I mean, it's exhausting. And, you're missing birthdays, you're missing weddings, you're missing, some really important moments in your family's lives because it's going to pay off and you see the bigger picture. But I think those are the things that sometimes gets overlooked when you're holding up the trophy or you're holding a mic. What I would like athletes to do, whether you're professional or recreational, same with the broadcast, whether you're, calling a high school game or you're on ESPN, I think you need to treat your mental health as your health. I think, you see the athletes, they do warm-ups, they have a whole routine that they do. They have post workouts, you have your stretching, you do all your recovery. But when it comes to your mental health, we totally ignore it. And I think that's something that we really need to focus on, and we need to be very proactive in it. So it doesn't just, we have all these different factors that happens, whether you lose a match and then no one knows that your grandma just died 2 days ago, but you're trying to ignore it. You're trying to push through. And then you hit a boiling point and boom, there comes depression. Here comes anxiety. Here comes whatever it looks like for someone. So what I would like is to treat your mental health just as your regular health. And you warm up your arms, you warm up your quads and your hip flexors, and making sure whatever that looks like for you in the morning. Is it having quiet time? Is it meditating? Is it going for a walk? Is it doing affirmations? Whatever that is just being proactive in the mental health space, as well as just your overall functioning with your muscles and your movements. I just think we almost like cut our head off when it comes to preparation for life. I think we focus so much, especially as an athlete, on our ankle strong and warmed up. How's our shoulder? How's our wrist? How's our hand? And then we just forget about the mental part. And it's getting so crucial right now, especially with the numbers going up of suicide and within professional athletes and just within our general population. And it's heartbreaking. And it's okay to not be okay all the time. And I want, athletes to understand that there's a space for them in that, and that they can be accepted and not be looked down upon or looked at weak or unprofessional because they can't hold it together. It's like, well, go play with a broken arm. You're probably not, and so it just needs to be treated the same. And so I would just like athletes to be, whenever, like I said, it's going to look different for everyone, but just being proactive in that space, whatever that looks like for them. Yeah, I felt that, I say I'm fortunately unfortunate to be able to relate with a lot of people. And, it wasn't easy growing up all the way into my mid-20s, just with a lot of things going on in my life, from everything of dealing with divorces between, my parents, or addiction in our family, eating disorder, suicide, abuse. There's a lot of people I can relate with. And I feel like now, having put in a lot of work within myself, with my therapist, my relationship with God, all of those things, I now feel in a place to be able to share that. And I'm okay to share that, if that makes sense. I'm not, I can back up what I'm saying and not crumble under bringing up some intense or touchy topics that may have triggered me in the past. So I just feel like I'm in a good place to share that and really relate with people, because like I said, everyone has a story. Everyone's battling something, and everyone puts on a smile and competes, or goes out there and does their normal day-to-day routine and job. But if you really ask someone, hey, how are you doing? Oh, I'm fine. How are you really doing? Not most of us aren't fine. And I just want people to know that I hear you, I see you, I can relate with you. And to know that, there are steps that can work. And it sometimes is dark for a long time before you see that glimpse of light, and before you start to put one foot in front of the other and start to really take grasp of your mental health and healthier steps of, recovering in whatever lapse you may have just had, and whatever trigger that came upon you that, I think sometimes we wake up thinking everything's fine, and then something will trigger us that we don't expect to, and you have to tuck it down and go to work. And so I would like, people to be okay to maybe ask for help in those moments, so we can address it, and then we can hopefully have a healthier day and healthier coping mechanisms to have a better outcome. So I just feel like it's time for me. I feel that it's needed, especially right now. I just feel like our society is lost, and we don't know who we are at times. And we try and grasp at any little thing, and sometimes it's really not healthy coping mechanisms that we're grasping onto. And I just want them to know that, like I said, I see them, and if there's anything that I can help them with, or maybe I share a tip that relates with them, that hopefully it can help them just a little bit to make sure that they have a better day, and that can lead into better relationships, and you know, not only with others but within themselves, because I think we have a hard time loving ourselves. And if we can get people to kind of look within and start to find that love within, and accept that we are going to have bad days, but how are we going to get through them? I just kind of want to be that person that they can look to in those moments, and ask. I'm really here for all questions, and good, bad, in between. There's no uncomfortable question if you're struggling in that area, and I think a lot of people are scared of those touchy subjects, and that's okay. I think my DMs are always open, and if not, then there's licensed professionals that you can connect with, that can help you in those areas. So I just want to be an avenue for people. I think it's really important to share how I'm doing currently to where I have been, in terms of mental health. I think, we're all looking to someone to relate with. And I think if we don't have anyone to relate with, we think we're alone. And when you become alone, it can become really dark. And I think that's where we reach to anyone and anything to help cope with whatever that is. And so, like I said, I just want to be someone that they can look to, like, hey, if Cam can get through this, then maybe I can. Or, wow, she said that this really helped her in this area. Maybe I can try it. Maybe it won't work, but I can find my own way within that, and start moving forward in that. So, I think like I said, it's going to look different for everyone, but I just feel that, I have on my Instagram, it says, why me? And I think a lot of people wonder probably why it says, why me? I used to think all the time, like, why me? Why the heck did this happen to me? Why did I have to go through X, Y, and Z and experience this, and watch this and have this happen? And then, I started realizing, wow, why me? God chose me to go through all this so I can help others. And so I just really want people to find their why me, and to get in that place where they can help others. Because I think a lot of people think, oh my gosh, no one's going to listen to me. Oh, my story is this, or, oh, I've been so hurt. I've been so broken and beaten down that who would listen to me? You'd be surprised. And I think everyone can help at least one person with their journey. I may not be able to resonate with someone, and someone else can have the exact same story, and the way they speak it and the way they say it and spin it, someone else can relate with them, and it can help them. So I just want people to know that there's a lot of power in their healing process. And if they feel comfortable to share it, great. If they don't, that's fine too. Everyone has their own journey. But I just feel like for me, it's now time, especially with the rapid growth of pickleball, and there's cameras in our face all the time. There's documentaries following us around. There's sponsorships coming in. We're on everything. And the pressure to be perfect and be put together all the time is crazy high. And I think right now, I just don't want people to get lost in that and forget who they are, and kind of put away all their baggage that they haven't dealt with, because at some point it's going to come out. And if we don't take care of that, and I just don't want it to come out on a platform where you have millions of people watching you. We can start doing those little steps now to making sure that we're in a healthy mind space to be able to handle this wave of eyes that are coming on us every single day in this sport. Like I said, I hope people they feel seen and heard by me, and they feel like they can relate. But I also want people to know they're safe with me, and I would never speak on something that I haven't gone through myself. So I think sometimes you can get into conversations with people that maybe say, oh yeah, I understand what you're saying, but they've never really experienced it. Like that's something that I want people to understand that I would never do. And I have so much respect for people's journeys and mental health and tragedies and issues that they've gone through growing up or current. And so I would never bring something up on my social media that I haven't personally gone through to then comment on. I think you may see uh, within all facets of business, hey, I'm going to go talk to a personal trainer, but they're not really in shape. It's like, you kind of don't really want to listen to what they have to say. So I just want people to know that the amount of respect that I have for mental health and everyone's um, journey within it and all of the tragedy that they've been through or whatever issues they're dealing with, that I have so much respect for that. And I have so much safety around those topics that they can feel free to share with me, or just know that everything I'm saying is coming from a very genuine place and a very honest place, because that's it's something that I do not take lightly. I've witnessed firsthand suicide and just abuse and anything in between, honestly. So I just want people to know that I don't take this lightly, and it's something that I'm very, very passionate about, and I'm going to continue speaking out about. I really love this sport. I really do. And I think it brings incredible people from all walks of life together. And like I said, it's a safe space. And whether you're struggling or whether you're perfectly fine and you're killing it and winning every tournament to, playing recreational, I just think that you're seen in this space. And I just want people to know that I'm going to continue to do whatever I need to do to share this amazing sport with the world, whether it's holding a mic, holding a paddle, talking about mental health. That this is something very near and dear to me, because pickleball really got me out of a really dark space during the pandemic. And I think, like a lot of us, we were just battling depression and not really knowing who we were and what was next and what was to come. And so I really owe a lot to this sport and a lot of important people in it that have given me this career. So I will always give back to pickleball. Love it so much.